Hello and welcome to Peggy's Tropical Garden, coming to you from the Florida Keys. You may have noticed that I haven't done any plant haul videos, and there's a reason for that. I haven't purchased any plants really this month, and the reason being is I wanted to save up my money and make a purchase internationally from Greenspaces ID. And here it is, my package from Greenspaces. Of course, I purchased the Fido certificate, and it shows that it was opened by security and checked. So that's when that Fido certificate really comes in handy. My plants didn't get confiscated. Now, I placed this order on the 4th of March, and I received it on the 20th. It was in the mail system for 5 days, well, delivered on the 5th day. And they do send it DHL Express, so it moved rather quickly. So I'm very impressed with that. Here's the Fido certificate, and it does tell where the plant came from. It says it was dipped in a chemical to sanitize and make sure there were no pests, and it stayed in that solution for 2 minutes. So that's why you should never, people always talk about the smell when they get these packages and you see people sniffing them. Don't sniff the plants. It's the chemical that the plants were dipped in. Also, you see people get them, they're excited, they're covering their face, they have their hands in their face and up to their mouth. Very dangerous to do. They've been treated with chemicals, the plants. So please don't handle these packages and put your hands in your face and your mouth. So just a tip. Honestly, even wearing gloves might even be a good idea, but I'm not going to get carried away with it. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about this process. My order total came to $180, meaning that the plants, I purchased 3 plants, so they're averaging $60. I will tell you the price that they were advertised for and sold for on the site, but when I do that, given all the other costs, the shipping and all that, I always just average them out and say, okay, these would cost me $60 a piece. And if I'm getting a plant that wouldn't normally cost that much, then I don't purchase that plant. And that's just something that I do because you do kind of need to factor in all the cost of shipping and things like that. Their Fido certificate was only $25, which is much cheaper than the other place. Here's what it looks like inside. Much cheaper than the place I purchased from last time, the Asian Imports. And their shipping was much more reasonable too. So here we go with plant number 1. And it's just in some paper, and like I said, I paid money for these plants. This was not a sponsored video at all. I'm noticing that the paper is a little bit damp, so it's kind of hard to cut. It's like the tape is on here. I don't want to just rip the paper because I don't want to rip off a leaf or anything, and I'm just really hoping these are in very good conditions. My issue is it gets so hot here. I can't order when it's too hot because they'll arrive dead because of the heat, and when it's cold everywhere else, I can't, Oh, here we go. This is the first plant. This is my Philodendron Mammy Ein, and this one was listed for $45. And like I said, after averaging all the other cost of items, Fido and shipping, it came to $60. But it seems to be in decent condition. It's a little limp. I will hydrate this plant. It has a little hole in it. Looks like there may have been some pest activity at some point, but there's nothing active now. They've been dipped. I think once it's hydrated, it will be just fine. So I'm pleased with that one. I think I'll do a video comparing the plants I got from this place to the plants I received from the other international order from Asian Imports, just so I can kind of compare quality and give you my thoughts on that. Because I do have some thoughts on that last purchase, but I'll let you guys decide if there would be interest in seeing a video comparing the 2 different international places where I've purchased, just in case you're planning to purchase and you want to get the most for your money or whatever. So let me know your thoughts down in the description box below. So on to plant number 2. And again, these are kind of difficult to get out of this paper. I was kind of surprised at the size of the box. It was much smaller and much more compact than I was expecting, but it looks like everything is fine. They seem to be well packaged. And what do we have here? And this is my Philodendron Gloriosa that was advertised on the website for $35. And it seems to be in decent shape. It does have the one yellowing leaf. And I mean, to me, that's to be expected with an international order, just given the fact these are being chemically dipped and going through the mail and the changes in climates and everything. It's a beautiful plant. I've been wanting one of these definitely for a long time, and it has some new growth coming out, so that's exciting too. But looks to be in very good condition, so I'm pleased with that one as well. And let's see, here is the third and final plant. Now this one, I noticed they put a name on it. They wrote a name on the paper. They didn't do that on the other two. And while I'm opening this one, I just want to reiterate, it's so easy to go on these websites and you see $25, $35 for plants that sell for 100 and something here. I'm not saying there's not good deals to be had, but once you figure in the shipping and the phyto certificate and stuff, like I said, each of these averaged out to be $60 a piece. So even though I said the last one's 35 and all of that kind of thing, people tell you that when they do these unboxings, but a lot of times they don't tell you what the entire cost is, especially after factoring in the cost of the other things that you should purchase. Like, well, you have to purchase the shipping, as well as the phyto. To me, is not something that's optional. And here we go. This one is my Philodendron Mellonii small leaf. Now, by small leaf, I don't know if they're just classifying small, medium, or large. I mean, this one was $25 because it was a small leaf. So I don't know if they grow into big leaves or if they just stay small. I don't know, but I thought it was kind of cool looking. They look almost like a larger version of micans. So if you know, are they actually a different kind of plant? Let me know down in the discussion box. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. Anything that looks like a micans has to be beautiful. So yeah, it looks to be in good condition. And on this one, I want to go on in and check the roots, because if you have bad roots or you have no roots, that's where the trouble seems to be with these international orders. I want to know that I have a plant that is salvageable, that's going to be healthy. All of these so far, just from looking at the leaves, I would say that they will definitely need to be hydrated. They've probably haven't been in water for some time. You figure, I don't think they like pull them up. This is very interesting. I'm sorry, I know it keeps switching subjects, but with all that's going on in the world right now, in a lot of places you can't find toilet paper. And I saw this, and the first thing I thought was, wow, we can't get toilet paper. And clearly, they're not having an issue getting toilet paper in Indonesia anytime they can put this much on a plant. This looks like a roll of toilet paper. Was that too much information? I apologize. Let me get back on track here. But I'm going to look at these roots, make sure this plant, I'm pretty sure it's going to need hydrating just like the other two. The leaves seem to be in better shape. They seem to be a little stiffer than the others, but the plant still seems to be a little bit dehydrated. I want to see what roots I'm working with. I know with my last international order and most of them that I've had, if there's a problem, it's either there's no roots or they're not viable roots. So hopefully that's not the case here. So before I say yay, I'm just thrilled with my purchase. Although so far I'm quite pleased, but I do want to see what the roots look like. So this is attached to a very thick stem. This obviously came from a very mature plant. It's almost like a piece of bark. And these roots are crispy dry, very thin. There might be some viable there, so I will definitely put this in some water and try to hydrate the roots, and so that I can tell which roots are viable, if any. But otherwise, the plant itself is looking really good. There's 2 stems here. I might end up separating that. That way, if one goes bad, at least I'll have the other one. But the leaves are absolutely beautiful. And here we are. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of TP right there. And 2-ply. So let me take a quick peek at these roots. Here's the new growth on this plant, so I'm very happy to see that. Okay, I've removed most of the paper and we're getting to the roots. And so far, honestly, it's not looking great. These are very, very dry and appear almost paper thin. Yeah. And if you can squeeze on that root and it feels like there's just nothing there, it just is flat, no pushback at all, then they're probably not viable roots, and I don't expect these roots to make it. Hopefully, I am going to put it in water, and hopefully some of these roots are viable and do make it, but I really don't have high expectations. And that's the thing you have to consider also when buying internationally. You are able to, I'm not trying to dissuade anyone, because if I thought it was a terrible deal, I wouldn't purchase myself. But as you can see, I mean, you should expect plants to be a little limp. You should expect dry roots. These plants have been through some things, and a lot of times you get plants with maybe a couple of roots, sometimes no roots, or the roots are dried like in this case. So they are usually going to require some care. Now, this Mammy Ein doesn't really have much of a root system, although it does have some roots. And of the 3 plants, I think these roots are the most promising. They are not tissue thin. I think they have some life in them. But again, I will hydrate this plant as well to try and plump up those roots, as well as perk up the leaves and get some new roots growing. So as you can see here, I've placed the Mammy Ein and the Gloriosa in a bottle of water. I have the water line just below the stem. I don't want too much stem in the water because I don't want to risk rotting the stem. And the leaves have already begun to perk up. As you can see, it's been an hour and a half to 2 hours since I put them in here, and they're responding well. They over here in this corner, they will get some bright indirect light, and let's see what happens. So I'm just going to give them a little time to acclimate. Now I'm treating the Melanochrysum a little bit differently because of that large woody stem it has at the bottom. I decided to put it in hydrogen pellets with water at the bottom. I don't want that stem sitting in water because, again, I don't want to run the risk of rot any more than necessary. So it will still get moisture from the hydrogen pellets, but it will not be sitting in water, although the roots coming from it will be. So we'll see how that goes, but it too seems to be responding well. And I have it over here under my grow lights, and we'll see what happens. Overall, looking at the plants, I expect all 3 to do well. So thank you for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.